Hey guys, Jake here, and today I am here with quarterfinals of the National Pokeball League Minors. And yeah, we did make playoffs of NPL. We got the 3rd seed in our conference. We missed 2nd seed by 1 differential point, which was pretty unfortunate because we did get 3-0'd by John W in week 10. So yeah, we're the 3 seed going up against the 2 seed from the other conference. And yeah, I did make playoffs even though I felt my season was kind of a failure. Just because I wanted to go at least 7-3, and I wasn't really that happy with 6-4. But because of the conferences being pretty weird, I was able to sneak into playoffs. If I was in the other conference, I actually would not have made playoffs because all 3 of the people that made it were 7-3, and yeah, the other conference had stronger records at the top, and the 3rd seed from the other conference actually had a better record than the 1st seed from our conference, Turbo. So yeah, I definitely got lucky that I was in this conference. Otherwise, I might not have been able to make playoffs, which is why I'm pretty upset with my season. But anyway, because we did get the 3 seed, we're going up against the 2 seed from the other conference, and that is Lord Zeden, coach of the Tulsa Excadrillers. And I was so terrified of this game for a few reasons. One, I know Zeden is a really good player. I think we played once in the past and he kind of tossed me. He knows the game well. He likes to play aggressive and make doubles and stuff and catch stuff on the switch. So I definitely have to keep that in mind. And he also brings a lot of really wild sets from what I've seen. And he definitely gets creative, like especially with his Mega Scizor. He loves to run Baton fast on his Mega Scizor. But and other cool stuff like he's utilized Gothorita well. I'll get into his team later, but he just really knows how to really bring the most out of each mon in each week. And also, last but not least, his team is just insane. Like, it's one of the most broken teams I've ever seen in like a actual good draft league. And my matchup for this game is completely awful. Building for this game was a really big challenge, and with the final product, I don't think I built a very good team. Near the end, I was just really getting burnt out of building for this game, so I did kind of just say, fuck it, let's just go with the team I built, just because I was really unconfident, and I didn't really feel like changing stuff that much because I was just getting burned out. I spent so much time trying to build a team I liked for this game, and didn't really work out. But anyways, let me go over his team real quick. Zeden's team consists of Zealandris T, Weavile, Clefable, Roserade, Milotic, Azelf, Gigalith, Mienshao, Electrode, Gothorita, and Mega Scizor. Now, that is just a completely broken draft. Like, he got the round 11 Mega Scizor, he got the round 3 Clefable, and then he just got other really mods to patch up holes nicely on his team. Like, he's got the Weavile to pursue trap, like bulky psychics for Mienshao, like, and he's got the Gothorita to trap stuff that his other mons don't like that much. And Gothorita is actually kind of a pain prepping for this game because I thought there was a good chance it could come. He's got the Azelf too, like just a really good drafted team. But let me go over the threats. Individually. So first off, he has this Lando T. And Lando T, I'd say, is probably the 2nd biggest threat to my team. Second biggest threat to the team I brought, and probably the 2nd biggest team to my draft. Just because offensive Lando T with Z-move just destroys my team. Look at the ground roses on my draft. They are Shaman and Togekiss and regular Rotom. So yeah, that's it. I was definitely expecting a Z Fly, Orlando T. I just felt it was great because it covered my ground resist really well. I was thinking maybe Dual Dance, Earthquake, Fly, and Earthquake and Fly. And then I was also thinking maybe just Rock Polish with Earthquake, Z-Fly, and Knockoff would be pretty possible. There's some other sets he could bring though, just because Lando is so good in this game. I've seen he really likes to bring Bulk Up Lando, which I think is a really underrated set in the format. So I definitely have to keep that in the back of my mind. And Scarf, I felt I could deal with Scarf pretty well. Even though Scarf doesn't make a lot of sense just because it revenges some good stuff on my team, such as my Zam and my Salazzle. So yeah, I was kind of expecting Scarf Lando, but I felt the team I built could deal with it well. Defensive Lando could be an option if he wants to bring like Helmet for Gang, but I think he has far better options to deal with my physical threats. So I'm definitely expecting more of an offensive Lando. It's also got the Weavile, and Weavile just beats like every mon on my draft. Like, it's insane. I do have a pretty decent switch-in Quillfish, but Quillfish really gets rolled easily, and I know he's gonna expect the Quillfish. So I was also really scared because Gothorita can trap Quillfish, which is kind of an obvious bring this game in my opinion because it checks Weavile, Mega Scizor, and Mienshao relatively well. So that's why I'm kind of expecting Gothorita, because it can trap my Quillfish, which deals with deal with some of his physical threats pretty well, apart from Landorus. And the thing is, though, is that it doesn't even need Gothorita to just destroy me, because like once he chips down my Quillfish, Weavile just destroys my team. Like, it beats like every mon. It is insane. Like, okay, Jirachi, I die to like a Life Orb knock. Garchomp, I'm obviously destroyed by any ice move. Shaman, Icicle Crash. Chokus, Icicle Crash. Dusclops, knock off. Dusclops can actually take a hit and get a Willow off, but still, it loses to EVI and is ineffective for the rest of the game. So, it kind of beats Dusclops. Beats Salazzle after Rocks. Quillfish is my best switch, and obviously Rotom knockoff, Bisharp low kick, Zam knockoff, and Kang can kind of take it on, but it is still too KO'd by a boosting item low kick. So Weavile just really destroys my team. I really need to build a team that, even though I had Quillfish, I really need to build a team so a lot of my mons could actually kind of just not lose to it. So yeah, he's also got the Clefable. My draft actually just deals with Clefable relatively well. I feel like fairies don't match up against my draft level because I have 2 steel types and I have 2 poison types. So I really wasn't too scared of Clefable, and if it would be a Clefable, I knew it wouldn't be a setup set. I figured it would be probably more of a support set, maybe with Rocks, maybe with Wish, to keep the rest of his team healthy. So I definitely need to keep that in the back of my mind. Roserade is a ginormous threat just because if he wants to run something like Sleep Powder or Sleep Powder to catch my Jirachi, or just like Life Orb Shadow Ball, or Life Orb Hidden Power Ground is actually better. And that just hits my team really well. Just like Technician boosted Hidden Power Ground does a ton, even to a Spidef Jirachi, which my team might be good switch in, but it's really not, just because Roserade is so strong. And it also just kind of prevented mons like the Shaman from coming, and it just hits a lot of my team really hard. He's also got the Milotic, and Milotic is probably the biggest threat to the team I built. I was really thinking of ways to help break Milotic, and I saw refresh Milotic to get rid of Toxic a few times and Mocked, and I'm thinking that I don't think he'll bring Flame Orb this game. I'm thinking Leftovers is his set. So Leftovers mixed defensive deck kind of help him deal with some of my physical threats, plus kind of switching to Salazzle is what I was thinking. So at first the game plan was just to Toxic it. I do have Toxic on a few of my mons, but then refreshes happened and I really just had trouble breaking it. So yeah, I kind of didn't know what to do. I wanted to bring Shaman. I really did, because it would have helped Milotic a lot. And Shaman is honestly the only thing that breaks Milotic on my whole team. Everything else just kind of can't really do much to it. It's quite insane. Just because it can either run Toxic, it can run Haze, Dragon Tail, so many options, and just Milotic is a really big threat. So yeah, in the end, I decided I hope I can Toxic it and set up on it with my Jirachi and just kind of pressure it enough to the point where I'll be able to kill it. But my team in the end was pretty underprepared for Milotic, and it just really wells my team a lot. He's also got the Azelf, and I was really scared of a Nasty Pot Azelf. It just really needs a Psychic Fire Blast, and really needs Psychic Fire Blast, and then maybe something like either Shadow Ball or Hidden Power Rise for my Zam or Garchomp respectively. It could just kind of run through my team, so I need to bring a team that wasn't set up harder for the Azelf, because it could be a huge threat. And he's also got the Gigalith, and I'm pretty much positive that Gigalith is coming. It just checks a lot of my team really well. I'm thinking it'll probably be his Kangaskhan switching. Something like Helmet, just with rocks, and I wanted to bring a sub-toxic Salazzle to lure the Gigalith and get that thing toxic right away. But the issue is, he can run Rock Blast and get past my sub, because he would Rock Blast, like, break my sub in the first turn, and then depending on how many hits he gets, I can just die right there. So sub-toxic Salazzle was not a good lure, and I just kind of had to think of just wearing that down and pressuring Gigalith pretty well with the remainder of my team. He's also got the Mienshao. Mienshao could be a pretty big threat. Qwilfish does check it pretty well, but I brought a lot of my team that outspeeds it, and I think he just has a better 6 to bring than Mienshao. He's also got the Electrode. I'm really not expecting Electrode this game. It just doesn't do that much damage to my team, and can't really break stuff like Shaman or Jirachi, so I really wasn't expecting that. Gothorita, I have talked about before. I do think it is a somewhat likely bring, just because it can trap my Qwilfish, which just completely, which just can pivot into his physical threats a few times, but I don't think it's necessary, so I didn't really prep for it that much. I figured if he did bring the Gothorita, I could probably play aggressively around it, and maybe if, like, for example, if he had his Weavile in versus my Garchomp, and I have a Qwilfish at full in the back, I can maybe make an aggressive play into my Bisharp to try and get that, to try and catch that. So, yeah, overall didn't really prep for Gothorita that much. And Mega Scizor, I was pretty scared of, just because I know he's brought so many different variants in the past, but I was thinking probably just a Fizz Def or Split F Volbeat Scizor is the way to go for him. I do have some decent answers to an SD Scizor, and overall it's not really the biggest threat. I think I can deal with it relatively well, but overall the 6 I was expecting him to bring are Landorus T, Weavile, and Milotic. Those four are for sure. Gigalith I thought was really likely as the 4th mon, and then I thought he would bring Roserade. And for the last mon, I was thinking it's either going to be Azelf or Mega Scizor or Mienshao. I really didn't expect Clefable to come, and I felt like Gothorita could come. It had a chance, but I felt he just had much better brings just because of how good his team matched up versus mine. So, yeah, overall, I was really scared of his team. So, let me just get into the team I brought. So, first off, I have the Scarf Bisharp. Now, Scarf Bisharp is a decent win. It's a pretty decent win con, just because he doesn't really have the best resist to this thing. Knockoff, Pursuit, Foul Play, and Iron Head are really all I need. I kind of consider Sucker Punch, but I felt like these moves are better. Knockoff is obviously one of the most spammable moves in the game. Pursuit is if I want to Pursuit trap something like a Gothorita or an Azelf. I know he will likely switch, and because Scarf is kind of likely versus team, I think he knows this. And Foul Play is nice because I can actually bring this in on something like a +2 offensive Mega Scizor, go for Foul Play and just kill it right there. Also, good for something like a Landorus. If it's got SDs up, I can go into this and kill it there. Yeah, the plan in this game is to try and hopefully pave the way for this to win. It's big that this thing can outspeed Weavile. It gives me a good thing just to revenge Weavile and send this in, turn it in with an Iron Head. Overall, just once I got trip damage on his team, Iron Head is looking real nice. Iron Head and Knock both look pretty nice late game once I just damage, especially stuff like the Mega Scizor and the Milotic. So, yeah, here's my win con. Speed is to outspeed just a max speed Weavile. I probably could have gotten away with running. No. Yeah, Jolly was a play. I didn't want to risk anything just because Weavile is such a giant upset to my team. So, yeah. There's one con. Next up, I have a Sash Slam, Rock and Counter, Slice Rock, Hidden Power, Ice, and Signal Beam. Now, running Sash Counter Zam again this game just because it's really nice to annoy some of his physical attackers, such as like Mega Scizor. I can beat Mega Scizor if this thing is set up. I can, because he's forced to attack me, and I can go for the counter and just kill him if he brings me down to my Sash. I meant to run 0 defense IV so I could take as much damage from stuff as possible, but I forgot to change that because I originally took Zam off the team. Yeah, I've got Hidden Power Ice because I really want to put something on here to hit Lando really hard, and I've got Signal Beam because it gives me coverage for the Azolf and for the Weavile. So yeah, even though there's a good chance I just counter versus Weavile anyway, I felt like this team was nice. So yeah, overall, I had Psychic over Psyshock for the longest time in this thing because I was thinking, because I put Hidden Power Ice on last minute before I had Hidden Power Fighting to Oko Weavile, but I figured that wasn't necessary in the end, so I changed Hidden Power Fighting to Hidden Power Ice so I had something to hit Lando harder, and then I put Psyshock over Psychic because I figured I didn't need Psychic that much anymore. But as you're gonna see, putting Psychic over or Psyshock over Psychic is gonna be pretty important in the game. So yeah. Next up, I have my mixed attacking Rocks, Ground Z, Garchomp, Rock and Earthquake, Hidden Power Ice, Fire Blast, and Stealth Rock. So I'm mixed attack just so I can do more damage to stuff like Landorus T and Mega Scizor, because getting those things weakened is huge for my Bisharp to win late game. Z Earthquake is obviously great in like most matchups. It's there to hit stuff like Roserade, Clefable, Milotic, and other stuff harder. And just if he doesn't have any switch-ins, Hidden Power Ice is for Lando. These and Fire Blast is for Scizor. These special attack EVs guarantee that I 1 can kill an uninvested Spadef Mega Scizor after rocks, and I can also 2 KO a max HP Landorus with Hidden Power Ice. So yeah, I don't think Spadef Lando is a ring this game. And yeah, rocks are hugely important in this game just to get that 12% on Lando, get that 25% on Weavile, and just get that chip damage. You guys know what rocks do. This defense investment allows me to live any Z move from a Jolly Landorus, so I can 1v1 that most likely. And the speed investment, the speed investment is huge. So I really wanted to speed creep max speed Landorus T and max speed Roserade this game. But I really wanted the Naughty just for the extra damage on the Clef, so I opted to make an aggressive speed creep yet again and just creep above my base 80s for a bit, which I've been doing pretty often this season, and I had a feeling that he would just speed creeping that, because Zeden will probably do his homework and watch my videos just to get an idea of what I would do. So I really considered doing that, but I figured that, you know, I don't think he's going to do that. I think the Naughty is just too nice. And as you're going to see, the speed EVs on my Garchomp will actually also come back to bite me. So those are two kind of little things that are actually pretty big in the match. So yeah, overall, just this is a nice mon. I can bring this in on Gigalith and get up rocks easily. Gigalith can't touch me really, and I can just do. This mon's a good breaker. I don't really need SD to break this game, so yeah, very solid mon. Next up, I have my physically defensive Kangaskhan, pretty standard with Wish, Protect, Return, Toxic, and you're gonna see that this set is completely walled by Scizor, and the rest of my team just kind of deals with Scizor decently, so I figured that would be okay. I really wanted a Return just for the stab damage. I wanted Wish Protect for the recovery, and I wanted Toxic. To get a Toxic on the stuff like the Milotic and the Gigalith, that is huge this game. Yeah, I really feel like a Kang set like this was necessary. Otherwise, my team just folded to a Scarf Landorus, and this mon can also kind of deal with Weavile pretty well as long as he's not Life Orb and he breaks me with Low Kick on the switch. He can take us from Azov decently well, and I can wish up my team to be healthy. Uninvested Return does pretty decent damage to a lot of things, which is nice. I can, as I said, I can Toxic, Lindo T, Gigalith, and Milotic, and maybe an Unaware Clef as well. He really likes to bring Unaware Clef from what I've seen, so yeah. Overall, I felt I needed something that could have some longevity and help me deal with the Scarf Landorus, because Scarf Landorus I felt was pretty likely this game, and I needed a mon like this. Just kind of take physical hits well, and yeah. Next up, I have a physically defensive Rocky Helmet Quillfish, rocking Spikes, Thunderwave, Scald, and Taunt. Now, Quillfish was obviously coming this game. This is a very standard set, but I felt it was effective just because I can pivot into Weavile if I really think he's going to attack and not double. Same with Mienshao, same with the Mega Scissor, because I can Scald / Thunderwave it, and I have Spikes to get the extra damage on stuff, and Thunderwave to slow stuff down, like the Weavile, the Mega Scissor, if I don't feel like going for Scald. And just it's a nice play when I know he's going to switch out, because it covers a lot of options apart from the Landorus, and Taunt is really nice for stuff like my Lodic, just keeping that from recovering if I've gotten him to take the chip, and helps me 1v1 Mega Scissor earlier or better, because he can't just roost, and I can like prevent rocks with this with Gigalith, and yeah, overall I felt this mon was necessary just to kind of help me pivot into mons like the Mienshao and the Weavile. So yeah, and next up I've gotten a pretty nice mon in this game, honestly. I've got offensive Air Balloon sub Calm Mind Jirachi. Now, Air Balloon is really nice because it gives me just a nice pivot into Lando, because as you can see, at the PMI6, I don't have an actual ground resist, so I felt like I needed something that can kind of just pivot into an EQ freely. My Ken can kind of take hits, but if it's not Mega Evolved or if it's got some chip, it could be pretty troublesome, so I figured this Jirachi is pretty nice. I am speed creeping Landorus T with this. I'm not messing around with this Jirachi. I did want to run Mon and do an aggressive speed creep again, but I figured because this Mon is pretty much just here to deal with Landorus T, I cannot risk being that sped by it. So yeah, I've got Subcom Mind, and the plan of this thing is to capitalize on Landorus early and hopefully get a kill. I have sub, so I can 1v1 my Lodic. If he has Haze, that's a bit of an issue, but I honestly don't think he'll run Haze versus me. I'm thinking he'll run Ice Beam, Scald, Recover, those for sure, and then for the rest, it'll either be Toxic, which is really nice for stuff like my Kang and my Togekiss, or it'll be Refresh, just so he can heal Toxics from himself. So yeah, I wasn't really expecting Haze, so yeah, obviously I have Sub and Calm Mind just help me boost up and beat stuff earlier. Psychic plus Hidden Power Fire hits everything apart from the Azelf, and which I really had trouble picking moves on this thing. I wanted to run Flash Cannon plus Hidden Power Fire, but that didn't hit the Milotic, and I felt I needed something that could beat Milo. I considered Psychic plus Thunderbolt, but I didn't get that extra damage on Scizor, and also didn't do that much to Weavile, because this mon can do a lot to Weavile at +1. So yeah, that's pretty nice. But yeah, I really went back and forth with a lot of the moves on this thing, but I opted with this at the end. So yeah, overall, not too confident on my team. The matchup is really rough, but yeah, let's get into the game. Alright, here we are with the match versus Lord Seedon, and as you can see, he decides to bring a team of Landorus T, Weavile, Gigalith, Roserade, Milotic, and Mienshao. So the first thing I notice is no Mega Scizor, which isn't the biggest deal because my team kind of deals with it decently well. And other than that, he just brought all the threats. Dealing with Mienshao plus Weavile is going to be pretty difficult for my Quillfish. And of course, Lando, Milotic are just ginormous threats to my team. So yeah, this will be a tough one, but I decided to leave my dedicated lead, my Garchomp, because I'm thinking, excuse me, I can deal with stuff pretty decently well. Apart from the Weavile and kind of that Milotic, I would just kind of see, but I didn't think he'd lead Milotic. So I wanted to get a Brox just because I need the chip damage to have a shot at winning this game. So I lead off with my Garchomp as he leads off with his Roserade. Now this is a huge turn one. I'm thinking he could potentially go for something like I figured the only way he kills me right here is the Scarf and Power Ice, and he should know that Z Earthquake or Z Dragon move is a very plausible option. So I'm thinking he only stays in if he's Scarf or if he's Sash, and they're good chances for both. But I'm thinking I'll probably outspeed this thing, even though I'm not speed creeping max speed Roserade, just because I think you'd want to maybe run Modest or just speed creep my Togekiss for more bulk. So I'm thinking Rocks is my best play because I figured he'll either switch out into Landorus or Milotic, predicting the Z move, or just stay in. And the only way he would actually, and I'm fine sacking my Garchomp off for Rocks, but I'm fine sacking off my Garchomp for Rocks, but the only way he would actually kill me and I don't get anything up is if he's Scarfing Power Ice, and I figured he wouldn't want to reveal that when I have a Jirachi in the back, and there's also potential I could be Scarf Garchomp as well, and like Ocone with Outrage or something. So I figured I wanted to get Rocks up on this turn, so I click Rocks, and as you're gonna see, he's gonna outspeed me and go for the Sleep Powder. So I'm thinking, okay, this either got me with the speed creep, or he is a Scarf Roserade with Sleep Powder. Both I think are decent options, but I'm gonna go into my Kang because it covers both. If he's Scarf, he would obviously switch here, and Kang can kind of deal with anything he would bring in versus this, apart from the Mienshao, but he wouldn't bring Mienshao in on this unless he had like Live Orb and Power Ice. But yeah, I'm gonna go into my Kang because I can take hits from a Roserade pretty well, I think. So I just go into my Kangaskhan, as now he goes for the spikes, which means he's not Scarf Roserade, and he actually did get the speed creep on my Garchomp, and that is just a really big turn one because now my Garchomp is really hindered, and this Roserade is probably stashed, and it still has it, and it's going to be able to get a spikes, and this is just a terrible start. Could not have gone worse. So now I just want to kill this thing because I don't want to getting enough hazard, as much hazards as I can. So I go for the Wish because I'm thinking he should know that I'm obviously Parental Bomb, and then I can kill him if he's offensive and he has the Gigalith. So I'm just gonna go for the Wish because I'd be able to Toxic on the next turn. That was a misplay, dumb play on me. As now I click Return because I just want to kill this ASAP. As I get a crit on the second one. I don't think that matters. He used like no bulk because he was actually max speed, just predicting speed creep, which is really nice prep on his part. So yeah, I killed the Roserade there, but even though I'm up 5-6 now, I'm already thinking I've lost just because he has 3 layers of spikes up, and I decided to bring an aggressive team without removal. I know spike stacking was very probable, but my team is pretty offensive, and my Garchomp is asleep, so overall just really bad start. Yeah, I kill the Roserade, and now he goes out into his Landorus. Now here, I'm just gonna go straight for the Toxic because getting the Toxic off and getting this thing on a timer is just really nice. I figured he might just go for the Z move here, but I don't really need my Kang that much anymore. As long as I get a Toxic on this and just get some chip damage, that could be really nice. So yeah, I'm gonna go for the Toxic as I outspeed, and he goes straight for the Z superpower. So that was not what I was expecting to see in this turn. One, because I outsped, which means this is like a no speed Landorus, which I wasn't really expecting, and that damage reveals he has a bit of attack, but not a lot. Something this is probably a very bulky Landorus, which is good information, but it's also pretty bad because he was the superpower. He will now be able to kill me with the next Earthquake. So because I have this Toxic on this thing on the next turn, I'm just gonna go for the Toxic to get another round of Toxic on this, and see what he goes for. And he goes for the Earthquake, and here in this scenario, I kind of want to keep my Kang as a sack just because he has the Weavile and the Mienshao in the back, so my Coolfish is already going to be pressured enough. It's going to be at 75% when it comes in because of the spikes. So I want to keep this. I want to keep this around as a sack, and I figured he's not clicking Superpower because I have no ground resist from what it looks to him, and an uninvested Landorus can kill max defense Kang from this range at Earthquake any day of the week. So there's 100% going for Earthquake or something like Rocks. So I just go into my Jirachi because I am Air Balloon, and I will be able to dodge the Earthquake. It makes sense that he went for Earthquake just because he didn't want to let me Wish Up or something. So now I take this opportunity to sub. I didn't feel like he would go for superpower and just break my balloon. I felt he would probably go for rocks, and I'm thinking good chances of rocks because this is a bulky variant revealed by the superpower by the pummeling damage. So I can just sub up here. If he superpowers, he actually wouldn't be able to break my sub with the next one, so that's really nice. But yeah, he just gets those rocks, and now because of the toxic damage, unless he has spread F invested, I will be able to knock him out with a psychic. So I go for the psychic and I kill him there. So yeah, overall I'm thinking, I mean, I'm up 6-4, but I still don't think this is good just because he still has the Milotic in the back and my Garchomp is asleep and my Jirachi is already kind of revealed. So here I misplay. So I should have expected Pursuit here, or I should have expected that he'd be able to live any hit because we all can easily take a Hidden Power Fire because of its natural bulk, and it can. I think, if I recall correctly, I think it might be able to take a Flash Cannon too. It definitely will be able to take a Flash Cannon with it set, but I probably should have switched just because I should have known that Hidden Power Fire wouldn't do that much damage to him. But I figured maybe if I could go for the Hidden Power Fire, maybe it'll be in range of a helmet round from Quillfish plus a Scald. So I figured maybe I could just go for that. But I should have known that he would have been able to eat and kill me with Pursuit in the next turn, and keeping the Jirachi around for the Milotic would have been huge. So I just go for the Hidden Power Fire here, and he clicks knockoff and breaks my sub. That was obvious, but as you're going to see, I go for the Hidden Power Fire, and that does 30%, meaning he is an Assault Vest Weavile. And basically now at this point, I know I've lost my Jirachi just because if he's Assault Vest, he's going to have Pursuit. He's going to have knockoff. He's going to have knockoff Pursuit for sure, because of the way he's played this. And he's also going to have Icicle Crash, obviously, and then I'm thinking it's probably Low Kick for the last move just for my Bisharp and Kang and stuff. So yeah, I probably misplayed by staying in while behind a sub. So I probably should have sacked off my Kang there. But yeah, that's pretty big because now I try to sack off my Kang and hoping he doesn't have Pursuit. But but my Jirachi is now at 2. And it's dead upon re-entry to hazards, so yeah, that's pretty bad. So I sack off my Kang, and here I decide to go into my Quillfish because I want to try and get a Thunder Wave off. I don't want to reveal that I'm a Scarfish Sharp yet when he has a Milotic at full in the back, and I want to paralyze anything that comes in. If I paralyze the Milotic, I give it Marvel Scale, which isn't ideal, but at least I can hopefully get full paras instead of spikes, so it's pressure to come in later on in the game. So I go into my Quillfish as I just fire off a Thunder Wave, and he goes hard into his Milotic, and now I take this opportunity to try and set up spikes, just because getting spikes are the only way I win. If he potentially gets rid of this, and he is not Scarf Me and Shao, and I can maybe try and win with my Bisharp, plus other mons, but it's a stretch just because my Chomp is asleep, and killing this Milotic pretty much wins. I'm underprepared for Milotic. I knew it would destroy me, but I just really didn't feel like prepping for it. But yeah, I'm just gonna try and set up spikes to pressure his switches more as he goes for as he gets paralyzed, which is unfortunate because it will allow me to get up another layer of spikes. I'm not sure how much this mattered in the long run, but definitely pretty unfortunate. As he goes for the Dragon Tail, which is kind of nice because he takes Rocky Helmet, and here I'm going to get pretty lucky, and I'm going to go into my Jirachi, which it's kind of unfortunate because I lose a sack, but it's kind of nice that I didn't go hard into my Zam or Bisharp. So now I figured I kind of lose this Milotic. My only hope is to go into my Garchomp, hope I get a first turn Wake, and do a ton of damage with the ZEQ, and maybe get a full paralysis. So I just go into this, fire off the Tectonic Rage. I know it won't do it much, but depending on rolls, it could get in range of my Alakazam or my Bisharp. So I go into my Garchomp, hoping I wake up first turn and get a lot of damage off. So I actually do wake up first turn, which is pretty lucky, and I go for the ZQ, and it does a pretty decent amount as he just kills me with the Ice Beam. So that damage reveals that he is a mixed defensive, and because I saw leftovers, and that is Marvel Scale, I'm assuming it was definitely a Flame Orb Milotic, because that was definitely Flame Orb, or that was definitely Marvel Scale damage. And here's where taking Psychic off my Alakazam sucked, because I actually, if he's like max physical defense, I can't kill him with anything right now. I don't want to sack my Coolfish off just to get a taunt off, because then I just lose a sack and I have no pivots for the guard jump or for the Weavile and the Mian Chao anymore. Like, it's already weakened enough, but I don't really want to do that. So I figured cause like his spread could vary on the roll I got. So I'm thinking I'm gonna hope he's not very physically defensive. I'm going to my Bisharp because that's what has the best chance to kill if he's not physically defensive, because I believe it's a roll. After the game, he showed me a spread, and this is a rule. But as you're going to see, I'm going to go for the knockoff, and I get a crit. So I guess that's another thing of hacks. So yeah, definitely really unfortunate there. It might have killed, it might not have, but there's also the paralysis chance. So a lot of different factors there that could have gone to me killing him. But yeah, now he goes out into his Mian Chao, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. Now that I've killed this Melodic, if this is a not Scarf Mian Chao, and this is just like Life Orb, like standard Life Orb, I have a chance to win with my Alakazam plus my Scarf Bishop, because I still have my Sash from my Alakazam. The unfortunate thing is that because that is AV Weavile, I can't kill it with my Alakazam because I only have Signal Beam. But I figured I'm gonna try and go for the Zam plus Bisharp win. So yeah, here I just go into my Quillfish because I know I need to switch out. Yeah, I go into that as he reveals the sub, and now I'm thinking, oh, I lose, GG. I can't, this gonna be able to kill me with any attack, and I'm gonna have to sack off one of my monsters to break it, and I won't be able to kill everything. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've lost. So I just go for the Scald, hoping to break the sub, and I'm just tagging off Quillfish, as he actually misses Stone Edge, and I break his sub, and that is really unfortunate. Like, that's just really bad, because now it is not behind the sub, meaning he just has to Stone Edge again and kill my Quillfish, and now is not behind the sub, and I have 2 mods versus 3, and I actually have a chance of winning. So here I decided. So here I ran a lot of calcs, and I had to think a lot about what I want to go into. So I do have counter on my Alakazam, meaning I will be able to beat the Weavile unless he wanted to really make an odd play predicting the counter and go for something like a low kick. But I figured that he wouldn't do that. I figured he would just try and break my Sash. So the issue is I don't know his Gigalith spread. If he's a physically defensive Gigalith, like max physically defensive, which doesn't make sense because I do have a Mega Kangaskhan, I won't be able to lose unless I will lose unless I get a crit with my Alakazam or a flinch with my Bisharp, because what I'm thinking is I will definitely outspeed this Mian Chao with my Bisharp, so I can also Iron Head the Weavile, and the Bisharp is at 84 after, or the Gigalith is at 84 after spikes, and Iron Head plus Side Shock is pretty much a roll to kill, especially defensive Gigalith, which is also a possible bring. So this is assuming he's a standard Gigalith though, and what I should have noticed is that if he's that bulky Lando, he might be a completely different like offensive Gigalith, but that didn't click my mind. I was just using the calcs and thinking if he's Spidef, it comes down to rolls, and if he is Fizdef, I need to get an Iron Head flinch because I have Side Shock on my Alakazam and not Focus Blast, which I had at one point to do the whole point was to do Focus Blast, to do more damage to the Gigalith with Focus Blast. So I go into my Zam first just because I'm hoping maybe I could get lucky and lure in the Gigalith, because maybe he wouldn't expect the Scarf Bisharp, and lure in the Gigalith before the Weavile, meaning I would be able to counter that, get damage, and then just win with my Scarf Bisharp, because I would be able to outspeed the Weavile. So I go into my Alakazam, and I know he's just going to sag this, so I just go for Psyshock, and I kill this, but he is actually going to make the correct play and go into his Weavile. I really wasn't sure if he would expect the counter here, but I figured he would just try and bring me down to my Sash, because he should know there's a pretty solid chance I have him Power Fighting / Focus Blast. And so because of that, I'm just going to go for the counter, and I hope he doesn't go for the low kick, predicting that, and just to break my Sash. So that would be a really nice play. I did actually consider going to my Bisharp, but I figured that's just a total choke, because I could still win if I get a flinch on the Gigalith. So I just go for the counter as he just does go for the knock as I kill the Weavile with counter. So first off, he goes into Gigalith, and I see he doesn't have Sandstream, meaning if I had Psychic, he said this was a mistake, by the way. He was supposed to be Sandstream, meaning but this means if I had Psychic, I could just Psychic. It would do enough damage because he wouldn't have Sandstream, and then I would kill with my Bisharp, no matter his spread. So that's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, I'm thinking, well, I just got to hope he's specially defensive, and if not, I get a flinch on my Bisharp. But as you see, I'm gonna go for the Psychic, and that does 35, and I get really excited. But then I realize, wait a minute, that does too much damage. That's not even a max HP Gigalith. And that's when, and here is where he reveals the Rock Polish, and I'm thinking, oh no, this just got really bad because the Gigalith is really slow. It needs 2 Rock Polishes, okay, +4 speed to outspeed both my Alakazam and my Scarf Bisharp. So I'm really hoping he doesn't think about Scarf Bisharp and just kills me with, or he just kills me here. He will go outspeed by Zam, but he's probably thinking he can live a hit and then beat my Scarf Bisharp on the next turn. But because then I would be able to outspeed this +2 Gigalith with my Scarf Bisharp. But I'm just so my only play is to go for Psyshock again, as he makes the correct play and goes for Rock Polish again. So I know I've lost at this point, but yeah, I just sacked up my Alakazam as he kills me with Earthquake. So here I make a mistake. I didn't realize I still had a very slim chance of winning. So I say GG in the chat. And I'm thinking, at first I was like, this doesn't matter. I was just kind of sad I lost this game. But then I realized, wait, he could think I have Sucker Punch. So he might try and make a prediction, predicting my Sucker Punch, and maybe just Rock Polish again. But that didn't hit me until after I said GG in the chat. So, and then I was like, oh no, why did I say GG? Because that might make it seem like I don't have Sucker Punch. But then I realized he might think that's a bluff. So he might think he might really think I'm bluffing that I don't have Sucker Punch right there and go for the Rock Polish. So this is just huge mind games right there. I don't have Sucker Punch though, so I'm just gonna go for the Iron Head and hope he predicts the Sucker Punch and goes for a non-attacking move. So I just go for Iron Head, and as you're gonna see, he goes for Rock Polish, and I kill the Bisharp with I kill the Gigalith with Iron Head. That was an insane game. That was a really bad game, just because I won because of the hacks. I'm just gonna say that right now. I only won because of hacks. If the Mian Xiao didn't miss Stone Edge, I pretty much lost. Unless I guess I got a flinch on the Gigalith, because I would have been forced to go into my Alakazam to break the sub, and then I would try and clean with my Bisharp, and I would have needed a flinch on the Gigalith to live, because I wouldn't be able to live in Earthquake after the hazards. So yeah, that was a bad game. I could have prepped better. Well, I don't even know if I could have prepped better, man. I spent a lot of time, but I just couldn't really like come up with a team I was happy with. So yeah, the hacks was really unfortunate in that game. I definitely got out prepped and outplayed. The Gigalith set was really nice. Turns one, the first two turns I thought I lost, just because he put my Chomp asleep and he got 3 layers of spikes up. I thought it was done for. But I was able to bring the game back just because he didn't recover with his Milotic. He Ice Beamed instead, and I think that was a really a crucial point in the game, because Milotic would have just been able to 1v1 my whole team. So yeah, GG to Zeden. You played really well, man. The game was really unfortunate. I deserved to lose, obviously, but yeah. This was a really tough game. I felt bad for Zeden just because he was definitely a better player here. But I guess we won, so this means we're in the semifinals, and we're going up against my good pal Hiker Toad. He's got a really nice draft as well, but I feel like my matchup's actually okay in this one. So yeah, that'll definitely be a good game. Gotta shout out the front office boys as well. Thanks to Jack, he helped me a lot this week. Justin, Bronson, and yeah. If I'm forgetting anyone, I'll just shout out my whole front office. But yeah, GG's season, check them out. Link, of course, will be in the description below. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.